Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. All right, we're going to be talking about competing and winning against those nasty Chinese sellers. And not all nasty, but the ones that might be a little bit unethical. So we're going to be talking about best pricing strategies for competing against these sellers, how you can how US sellers outcompete Chinese, and how you can combat the black hat techniques. So, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA podcast. And Maestro, hit the music.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, like I said, today we got a really interesting topic, and that's competing and winning against Amazon sellers in China. So our guest today currently runs Black Label Advisor, an Amazon-centric consultancy focused solely on helping sellers and brand owners expand their reach on the platform and grow their business. Clients come to him from all over the world for advice ranging from listing audits to solving logistical issues. He is a repeat guest, and we're talking about Jon Elder. We're going to get to him shortly, but first, a word from our sponsor. A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together. All right. Where is Boy Wonder?
Hello. Happy Wednesday. How are you?
Happy Wednesday to you. What's happening, sir?
Not too much. Just getting excited for our little Mexico trip happening in a couple of months from now, up in June. I don't know about you. I'm ready for a vacation. Well, I guess it's not a full. I'm sure I'll be doing some grunt work too, but
probably
a trip to
lot.
Mexico.
23 hours of the day, but yeah.
All right.
And if obviously, you don't know the expectations.
I've been out of the loop on that.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you are interested, this is the Mexico sourcing trip. You can visit themexicotrip.com for more info. Welcome, Rad and Jessica Rabbit. We also have a Facebook user, Jessica Rabbit's all the way in sunny Miami. We are in cold Toronto. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know in the comment sections. Also, it's a great topic, so if you have any questions, comments, put them in the comment sections. We're going to be reading them off. It's going to be more in the second half of the show, but we're going to be answering all of your questions. So let us know. Welcome, Danon. And we've got another Facebook user, the Workation Bub. Yes, that's right. And don't forget to smash those like buttons. Give us those thumbs up. If you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe and ring that bell. If you're watching from Facebook, please like and follow us there, and just all across social media. Why not?
I like how you slide that in. All across social media. There we go.
But don't forget, if you're enjoying the show, give us a thumbs up. We have a great giveaway too, so stick around for that. And we have something for everyone as well. So
yes, we do.
We'll give you more information on that coming up, and we can jump into it. Welcome, Nathan, too. Hey, Beardos. If you're new to Lunch with Norm, Beardos or Beard Nation, that is our community here. So welcome to all of the Beardos joining us, and welcome Simon as well. Happy Wednesday, and we can jump into it.
Fantastic. Okay, so if you do have questions or comments, throw them over in the comments section. Other than that, sit back, relax, grab your cup of coffee, enjoy the show. Welcome, Jon.
Hey, Norm. It's great to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just had to get that quick sip in. But
I'm sipping iced tea over here.
Iced tea? Come on, you got to go in with the good stuff.
I know. I had my coffee earlier this morning. So my typical schedule is coffee in the morning, right when I wake up, and then iced tea the rest of the day.
I just before we got went on live, I think I caught you saying to Kelsey that you're in Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Yep. Mhm.
Nice, nice. We're just sitting up here freezing, our butts off.
Oh man,
Uh,
I bet you are.
love, love, love it. Hey, today's topic is fantastic. So I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this, and that's how to compete with the Chinese sellers. We get this question all the time, quite a bit in the group, but just people at general when I'm at events ask me about Chinese sellers.
Yeah.
My answer, usually in short, is I don't worry about Chinese sellers. And I think we're going to be talking about this and the reasons why you don't have to fear it. There are ways around it. There are ways to, as long as you understand your competition. But we'll get into that right now. How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay. So why don't we just jump into it? The fear factor. Do you think there's too much fear going on? Not just Amazon, but if it's Walmart or if it's on Shopify or wherever, do you think there's just too much fear about having to compete with the Chinese manufacturers?
I think it's a justified fear.
Mhm.
I think a lot of it's overblown just because I think the biggest thing that people misunderstand is the types of margins they're competing on. So as an American business owner, we have everything's tied to your social security number. We have things like health insurance we have to pay for. We have now skyrocketing food prices. We have lots of expenses. And so a slimmer margin goes further in China. So, the fear is really from a sense of, where's that revenue and traffic going? So when you're competing on Amazon, it is a big issue when you have, 15 new sellers and they're clearly factories and they're undercutting you by 30%. So, they kind of, I kind of classify, if you're an American seller, you're competing with American sellers, you're kind of in your own space. If you are, in a position where you're competing with the manufacturers from China, you're never going to survive because you'll never be able to run your business at the margins that they're running their business at.
That's a big problem for new sellers. They might take a course, they come on, they look at the lowest tier and they want to move volume. And one of the things I always talk about knives, okay? And we took this knife and we took it from a very low cost at $49 and brought it up to at one point $124 dollars. But the client was always worried that the traffic would drop. But at the end of the day, when we did our formula or calculations, we showed them that even though traffic might have dropped X, that they were making more profit selling at 99 to 124 than they were at $49. And so this is something that, and we'll get into pricing strategy in a second, but I always you could look at the same price and you can take a look at chef knives right now on Amazon and you'll see that there's a low tier, $19, which is definitely a Chinese seller, to around a $30 range or $24 range, $30 to $70 range, maybe a little bit higher. And then it jumps right up to like these $100 knives plus to a $300 knife.
Yes.
Now, most of these are coming from the same factory, but it's perception, right? When you're doing a pricing strategy. So let's talk about pricing.
Well, pricing is one of those things where you have to kind of get it right from the very beginning. So whether you're looking at, if you're looking at just a brand new product launch, you need to be positioning yourself at a premium. So, going in and competing with $20 knives is not the end game here. So you need to be in the $100 plus, price point. So you need to maintain your margin and you need to make sure your pricing is not competing with the Chinese sellers. So, how do you achieve that? Those 20, 30% margins, that's through optimizing every single touch point. So I talk about this a lot on podcasts and Twitter, but every touch point needs to be amazing and beautiful. So The moment they receive the package, what's that opening experience look like? What does the product actually feel like in their hands? There's a lot of testing that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that's honed in really nicely. But the key here is to create a tribe on Amazon. So yes, you can't interact with them. You don't get their emails and stuff. But guess what? It's very common for your brand to rise up in the search ranking. Oh my gosh, more and more people are searching for my brand, and I do that all the time on Amazon. So if it's a trusted product, that I purchase over and over again, I'm going to go find their related products because I know that they really focus on quality. So you really need to price yourself at a premium. Even if that's 25% higher than the average, you need to go into it with just being willing to spend a little capital. Go into it. Don't try to spend $100 on your pictures, but be okay spending $700. Or right out of the gate, have a 30-second clip ready to go for your listing. So there's a lot that you can do to kind of position yourself as a premium, and a lot of that has to do with branding and making sure that all of your pictures are optimized correctly.
Yeah, we talk about micro brands here, and we all are. Amazon sellers, for the most part, are micro brands.
Yeah.
And the problem with a micro brand is that you don't have the authority or the trust at the beginning. Somebody comes in search results, they see you, they go over to you, but you mean nothing to them because they've never received your product. Now, you do have the chance of, once they go to Google, to check out your brand because they've never heard of you, and all of a sudden you have a half decent even a one-page website, some good social media, the brand is there, the logo doesn't look like it's done by your sister or your brother who is about 4 or 5 years old. Then they can trust you. The more authority you get, the more trust. And then I say, if you can get authority, trust, that equals sales.
And that actually brings up just a really good point. Every Amazon seller needs to have a much bigger, you need to have a bigger picture than just, selling on Amazon. So from day one, you should make it a goal of expanding your reach on, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, making sure that you are, it doesn't have to be like a perfect website for Shopify, but you need to, have your Shopify set up where you do have a branding story. You have you actually put effort into your About Us page. What makes your brand unique? Is there a charity that you partner with? I would do that with brands in the past, and that worked really well. Like actually showcasing, like here's some local charity work in Dallas, and having pictures on your blog. Like you need to come across as relatable. Because when you're comparing to Chinese sellers are not going to do that. They don't care about any of that stuff. They're going to have this weird email for their customer service. It's going to look foreign. I can't tell you how many times that's turned me off to potentially purchasing something. But really put some effort into your website. Thankfully, Shopify makes things so easy. So just make it beautiful. It doesn't have to be perfect. Use the MCF program. Tie in your inventory to your Amazon FBA inventory, and just keep it streamlined that way. Obviously, Walmart's kind of a separate beast. Your inventory has to be kept outside of Amazon warehouses. But yeah,
and that's by the way, I got to interrupt you there. The worst thing you can possibly do in a Walmart account is drop ship from your FBA account, because somehow, and I don't know why, but Walmart does not like to have that smiley face on any boxes being delivered with your Walmart product. So that's
one picture from a customer, one picture, and I know this for sure because I work with Walmart consulting companies. One picture and you are banned for life. They will never allow you to sell on their platform ever again. So I actually know sellers that break that rule all the time. I'm like, it takes one picture over one email and Walmart is going to ban you.
Yeah. Oh,
this is Grayson.
Hey, Grayson.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks, buddy. Well, that was a surprise.
Well, anytime Kelsey's going to be barging through the door and sitting on my knee for the rest of the podcast. So,
Yeah.
just get used to it.
Yeah. It's funny on podcasts. I'm like, okay, everyone's secured. Everyone is outside the office, and you just never know with kids.
Right.
Back to Walmart, you just have to be really careful with that. And I think the big picture here too, getting back to the main topic, is establishing yourself outside of the Amazon system.
Mm-hmm.
And, people are going to be searching you on social media. They are going to be going to Google. You should be the number one hit for your brand, end of story.
Right.
And you need to actually be out there. And this is also tied into your Amazon store. I can't tell you how many people I consult and help people with. I'm like, you don't have your Amazon store set up. Amazon.com/your brand. Like, where is it? And a lot of people just don't put effort into that. And even when you click certain brands on Amazon and it just goes to a search list, it just looks really unprofessional. So, covering every single one of those things is really going to help you be set apart, because, to be honest, Chinese sellers, they really just don't care that much. They care about Amazon. They're not going to care about, having that branding image. They're not going to be partnering with charities, for example. And so anything you can do to be different and elevated, definitely pursue it.
All right. So one of the other things that the Chinese sellers, I don't think they do a lot of, you said storefront, and the other things are posts and live.
Yep.
So being able to build that brand on Amazon, which they want, plus with A+, if you're new to the podcast, or if you're new to Amazon, you couldn't combine your brand story before with your A+ page.
Yeah.
And now they want that. They want you to build that community and the ability. You were talking about building a tribe. So the ability for people to check out your posts, to send them over to your brand feed page, to be able to follow you. And now anytime that you go live, they get a notification saying, you're going live. And you can also use those followers with customer experience now. And you want to set out a promotion because you've got a brand new product or a discount. Yep. You can blast all your followers, which is fantastic.
Yep. I mean, that combined with your private email list is just a powerful, mix of tools, especially for new product launches. Let's say you have 5,000 people on your email list, give them an exclusive discount for your Amazon listing. And there is an amazing opportunity to build up reviews, organically. And of course, every conversation you have needs to mention unbiased reviews. But simply, giving them an exclusive discount just for your VIP tribe, that combined with live and posts is amazing. And I think Amazon still has a ways to go. A long ways to go before that really takes off into something, really big.
Right.
But like right now it's what's really powerful, and Chinese sellers definitely don't touch it, is influencer marketing. So I help people with this all the time, and it's really just about making relationships with different influencers. And like, for example, if you want to target like the mom demographic, Instagram is, it's kind of dubbed the mommy app right now, just because so many of the younger generation has, they've shifted over to TikTok. So if you have like, a product that fits that demographic, it's a powerful place to be in. And it's just a really easy way to connect and get exposure. So all it takes is one post to go viral. And sometimes, if you're giving away free product, they might make a reel with your product. And if that goes viral, it just takes one. I had a client that sold out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Chinese they're not going to go and do that type of effort. They just don't. So those are all different tools that Amazon sellers can kind of start thinking about and utilizing going forward.
So before we get any further into it, I want to go back to the pricing question, the pricing strategy. When you're launching a product or trying to breathe life back into that product, are you using any digital coupons or any type of promotion to bring down the cost? So you can drive extra sales or sales velocity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, PPC is huge,
Yeah.
for every single product launch. So I always recommend custom campaigns and auto from the get-go, like even at 0 reviews, and let your brand imagery really sing. So yeah, I mean, for a launch, always use coupons. Coupons are kind of one of those weird things. People will see it on search results. Like if you have a $5 off coupon, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, $5 off coupon." Then they'll add it, but they'll forget to clip it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a psychological element that's really powerful with coupons. And I would say, gosh, probably 80% for my clients, their customers don't even clip the coupon. But that coupon should be used on all your best sellers. And it's really useful to do some split testing for product launches. So doing that a little bit, sometimes a website like Slick Deals is really useful. I mean, that's an entirely different segment of demographics. So, they want a really steep discount on that forum,
Right.
and that will, sell through a ton of your inventory. So you have to be careful with that. But that's a really good tool. Lightning deals, honestly, should be used quarterly. Most people I consult are doing at least one deal every 3 months or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the promotional things. And then influencer marketing, you're giving away free product. And then of course, Vine from the get-go. I actually tweeted about this yesterday, and I'm like, I have these conversations with people, and it's shocking because there are still people who don't know that Vine exists, and they're stuck with 0 reviews, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do." Well, Vine is in brand registry. That's for you to use.
Right.
And there's a client that I was working with recently. They're trying to get into Target. Target responded back to them and said, "Hey, if you want to get into our store, you need to prove your Amazon revenue." That's literally the conversation they had. So now brands are using Amazon to prove themselves to big box. And so they came in, and I was working with them. I'm like, "You guys have 7 variations. Sign up all 7 variations for Vine." And they got 30 reviews each
There you
variation.
go.
So it's a really powerful, easy tool to use for product launches.
Okay. So next step, I'm curious on what your thoughts are with US sellers out competing the Chinese. How do they do that? How can they do that?
That is probably one of my favorite topics to talk about, because you're just, as an American seller, you are positioned in a special place because you understand the culture. You understand how people talk. Chinese sellers, they are literally thinking, "I'm going to sell the lowest price and put no effort into my imagery," and that's just not going to work. Okay, so really put effort into your branding imagery. Don't spare any expense for that, and really focus on customer service. So one of my things I'm always telling people, do what Zappos has done for so many years. And they became successful because they had extreme customer service. So if there was a question about maybe there's an issue with a defect, send them a replacement immediately. Don't fight them. So Chinese sellers are notorious for debating customers, for fighting them over
Yes. Yes.
email. No, we won't refund you those $5.
Yeah.
It's $5. Who cares? Refund them $5. Send them a $10 gift card and say, "We want your experience to be so good. We want you to come back forever." Go above and beyond. Like, start thinking that way. And even so, in my own business, I took this really far. Even when I knew or had a suspicion that someone was potentially scamming me, I still would try to make their day.
Right.
And I wouldn't mention "Hey, you're scamming me and I know it," but I would just try to make their day. And every interaction I had with customers was all about making their day as perfect as possible. So Nordstrom does a good job for this. Returns, no question, doesn't matter. You've worn it outside, don't care, return it, go for it. So that extreme customer service will really set you apart, and then really showcasing who you are as a brand owner as well. So there's a lot of really funny stock photography right now with Chinese sellers where they actually showcase, this is our factory floor. they don't care about what your factory looks like on your A plus content. They care about who you are as a business owner, like what makes you different. So in your A plus content, that section about the brand. So use that, put your face on it, talk about what inspired the brand. So for me, one of my biggest brands was an outdoor kids toy company, and what inspired that was reigniting the excitement of the great outdoors. So kids are just spending way too much time on technology, and the toys had nothing to do with technology. It was all about getting them outside to play. And so that's wrapped up in that A plus content. And all of those things, as they're scrolling down on your listing, make sure you're talking about that. Not only just the functional, like our material quality is the best, but what inspired the brand, what makes the brand different, and how can you get involved? And so a lot of people obviously want to support brands that have kind of like a higher mission statement than just make money. So, I had a brand for a men's leather goods company, and the key there was to support veterans. And so there was a veteran component there, lots of patriotic imagery, and that really was successful, helping people understand that out of every purchase, I was donating $1 to a local Dallas charity. So there's a lot you can do there that Chinese sellers are simply not going to touch.
Right. I agree. It's just a cultural difference. And I love what you said about the arguing. I've seen that so many times where it's just something so simple. And 100%, if you've got 1% of your sales that they just know the system. But if you start to argue, all you're going to do is poke the bear and just get them
Yeah.
even more angry, and just give them the product, give them
Well,
options, make them feel like actually you could probably make them feel really bad for
yeah,
messing around with you.
that's actually part of the strategy I've always used. It's about making them feel maybe a little guilty about what they're
Yeah.
doing, but also maybe flipping them. So like maybe they'll say, "Hey, oh my gosh, hey sweetheart, I was totally trying to scam this company, but they're actually really, really nice." And maybe, just maybe, that word of mouth could happen organically. There's obviously no way to prove that, but the people who were outright scamming me, it's such a tiny percentage for Amazon sellers that just make their day and move on with life, because it's really not worth your time. And especially if you have a VA managing your customer service, don't bog them down with conversations like that. It's not worth it.
Right. No, that's a great point. Okay, so what time is it? We're heading up to about 12:30. So, got a question for the listeners. Have you ever come across Chinese sellers on your listing, and how did you react? What did you do? Now,
Yep.
you've got a great giveaway today. John, why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's just a 30-minute consult with me. I don't get these giveaways out very often, but it'll be just, if you're an Amazon seller and you're really interested in, maybe tackling some of the issues that you have, you get me dedicated time on the phone with you. So a really good time to get to know you and your business, and hopefully help you with some challenges.
All right, fantastic. And we also have it's a 20% bonus or discount as well. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So everyone listening today, So I consult full time now. If you are interested in consulting, 20% off for the first 2 months of consulting with me. All you have to do is mention this deal on email or through my website. I have a contact form at the bottom of the page, but this is a exclusive discount for anyone listening today for the podcast.
Fantastic. Okay, so Kelsey, let's head over to a sponsorship ad. As you know, at Lunch with Norm, bigger is always better. Bigger business, bigger profits, and yes, bigger lunches. Z wants to make sure that your business and profits are bigger by taking you and your business international. They are a one-stop importer of record shop, including compliance and logistics services. They focus on all the elements involved in a smooth, first-time custom clearance so that you can focus on what you're good at, selling. Click on the screen now or follow the link in the description box below and get 50% off your first shipment today. Okay, so my next question is going to be about black hat techniques, but I can remember sitting down with Kevin King at his BDSS event, and there was a fella there that had I almost want to say a factory in China, and he was showing us the 4,000 people that he was working with that were just creating fake accounts and leaving 1-star reviews. And like it's like, holy cow, I mean, that's unethical. And he said, no, like in China, we want to destroy our competition and we'll go to any lengths to do it. And I just went, oh my gosh. So it's so different. Like most people are fairly ethical, but that is ethical for the black hatters. And I mean, this guy is a very well-known person. I think he comes out to a few events from China. And anyways, interesting guy. But it gave me a little bit of information and insight into what goes on some of these large black hat guys, So why don't we talk about that? Let's talk about, how do you combat black hat tactics?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most common issues that sellers face is really just a hijacker on your listing. So typically, and I've seen this happen two different ways. One is a drop shipper where they're on your listing as a secondary seller, and they are, if someone purchases from them because they have a lower price, they are then drop shipping an inferior product to the customer, or they're not shipping that at all. The other thing too is where some Chinese sellers, they will actually go to great lengths. Like they will try to find maybe like a nearby factory that will do what they're wanting to do, or they'll find your factory. So what they'll do is they'll actually produce inventory that is exactly like yours, all the way up to copying your logo. And so that's easy to do. You just get the product, you ship it to your factory, and you tell the factory, I want the packaging to be the same. I want everything to look and feel the same. So that's that's infringement across the board. That's copyright infringement. That's inauthentic inventory. So there's a couple ways to go about battling that. I absolutely love Project Zero. So Project Zero, you can get these hoppers booted immediately. So typically within 24 hours. So use Project Zero for situations like this. Another tool that's really useful is just simple brand registry, submitting an infringement claim. So you have to be a little clever with your language though. So you can't just say like, oh, it's copyright infringement. Definitely mention things like, this is going to be bad for the Amazon customer experience because they're receiving inauthentic, copyrighted, inventory. So, definitely talk about how it's going to affect the Amazon consumer. Another trick there with your language is to mention safety. So if you know that they are potentially, sending inauthentic goods to your customers, mention, I can't, as the first, you control your listing, you are the main seller. You can't control them being on your listing and selling, goods that could potentially injure somebody. And so use that language when you're submitting those claims, and Amazon likes to act very, very fast. If it's related to customer experience or safety, Amazon typically shuts them down really fast. Definitely don't reach out over email with them. Don't try to send them a message like a cease and desist letter. That used to be popular back in the day, but
it could backfire so quick.
Yeah, don't even touch that. Just go direct to Amazon and give Amazon the evidence. Whether it's a copyright, or maybe it's a trademark infringement, or maybe it's a patent infringement. Talk about the things that they're doing and get them removed. And some of the stuff you can't control 100%, like especially for people that use the NARV program. Let's say you're selling in Mexico and Canada and you're using American inventory. There's going to be a plethora of drop shippers who are going to be on that listing. So your Canadian listing might have like 7 secondary sellers, and none of those guys actually have physical inventory in Canada. They're simply drop shipping from other websites and eBay and things like that. So that's really not worth the headache to deal with. But on your USA listing, if you ever see something like that, it's really important to tackle it and get them removed, because it's going to reduce your the professionalism of your brand. You don't want people to come and be like, wait a second, why is this secondary seller there? You also don't want to deal with the branding aspect. If they actually buy from them, guess what? They're not going to be mad at them. They're going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
You are the brand. And so it's just about protecting the brand, the effort you've put into your presence online, and to make sure that, if you do own the intellectual property, just to protect your space.
Yeah, I saw some comment. Excuse me for a second here. Didn't want to cough in everybody's ear, but you touched on Project Zero, and Claudia was mentioning about transparency. So transparency can help as well, but it's got to be under the right conditions. If it's too inexpensive, then like if you've got a higher priced item, or it's a product that could easily be counterfeited, transparency is definitely something you can look at. And transparency is not owned by Amazon. It's an independent company that Amazon uses. And all you're doing is putting in a unique sticker on. And the cool thing about transparency is you can have unique offers on the transparency sticker. So if somebody scans it, it's not just Amazon, but you can have unique offers on your own, anything that's enrolled in transparency, which is kind of cool. But one of the other things I want to talk about, smear campaigns. So like the fellow that showed me the 4,000 people working out of his his factory of fake sellers.
Phones. Yep.
Well, all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you have 23 1-star reviews, and they're all and a lot of the black hat tactics now have changed a bit. So they won't just do 1-star, it'll be 2 or 3-star, and they'll add these words in there that will get you suspended. So a 3-star review or 4-star review, oh, this was good, but could potentially choke or something like that.
Yeah,
and
or adult products. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So these are the things you have to look at. Look at your reviews, and you can report a smear campaign and just show, what your normal review flow would be, and then show the ones that just came on overnight.
Yep. And a lot of the times those are not verified reviews. So definitely mention that, and Amazon can see that it's not a verified review. Anytime you mention China in inauthentic responses on Amazon is, that kind of goes up the ladder. We saw that with over the last year, Amazon banning hundreds and hundreds of Chinese sellers on Amazon. So they're going to continue to crack down. We don't really know like what methods they're going to use, but we will see more and more black headers get suspended and kicked off the platform. So it takes time. And that kind of ties into what we were talking about before the show, of this new trend that, USA based sellers are skyrocketing, and Chinese sellers are going down. And so there's a couple of reasons for that. One, China continues to shut down their economy. Like Shanghai just shut down a couple of days ago. So that continues to be an issue. And then, Chinese sellers are always going to pursue, lowest barrier of entry, right? So if Amazon is continuing to crack down, and Amazon is saying, sorry, but these are terms of service and you broke them, we're going to start hunting you down and suspending you, the interest is going to wane, because it's not easy anymore. It's harder now because you can't get away with it as much. And so I'm very, very pro Amazon becoming stricter over time. I want to see Amazon slam the hammer down 1,000% more. And I think that even things like, forcing the proof of business insurance was a good move. So now, as a Chinese seller, you can't just sell and not have business insurance. You have to have business liability insurance, and you have to prove that and submit that, in a PDF to Amazon. So
Right.
all those things, some people will kind of whine a little bit and say, well, that's hard for like small business sellers. And it's like, that's just part of doing business. You need to have a long-term vision for your business, and getting a, ultra cheap liability plan for your business should be no question. If you open up a consulting firm, like what I did, you have business insurance, so that's, all those barriers that people talk about are actually good for the American seller. So
One other item I want to talk about, I think is very important. We're not going to get into it because that could be a podcast on its own.
yeah.
But Vanessa Hung came on about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and she talked about protecting your listing using contributor rights on flat files. And if you haven't heard about this, anybody who's listening, check out that podcast. It was an hour long. And she was going through just the strategies of protecting your listing using what's called contributor rights. Very interesting. Vanessa knows her stuff, and it was pretty cool. So we won't get into it, but I just wanted to put that out there as well. John, we got a ton of questions. I don't know if I guess we should stop here and start asking some questions.
Yeah, we'll do a quick response time here.
All right.
So some of these are more comments than questions, but we do have some questions as well. So let me see. From Cool Hand, I actually just found a Chinese seller on one of my listings, and I'm currently trying to deal with it. But even with brand registry, I'm having trouble getting help with Amazon. I try to fill out the infringement form, but when I try and put the duplicate Chinese listing, it will not pull up. Is there anything Cool Hand can do about this issue?
That's a glitch. That shouldn't be happening. Definitely do a screenshot of that and submit a ticket through brand registry.
Okay, great. And then we also asked our audience if they've had encounters with Chinese sellers. And we have a Facebook user saying, a Chinese seller, I think this is from Clive, actually, a Chinese seller used my photos and graphics on my product, but they just can't compete on the service we give. Terrible listing, terrible photos. Only thing they could do is price. So is there anything to touch on there?
If they copied your logo and trademark name, yes, so you can report that, but they can actually copy your pictures 100%, and Amazon won't do anything. So, make sure you have your trademark filed. Make sure you have any design patents in order, in case they're, copying things. But anyone can pull the same stock photography and pretty much copy you 99%. But really, it comes down to, are they copying your logo? If they are, then definitely submit that, and you have protection there.
And if your product isn't branded, so let's say you have a bar of soap, but there is a package showing your brand, that's an image that you can use.
Okay, let me see. So Ibrahim says, I haven't faced any issues regarding Chinese sellers. So it's not everyone has this issue, but people do have these issues. And
yeah, it's definitely, it happens more often. So the higher you scale with your revenue, and I always encourage people to stay below $100,000 a month in revenue for potential new product. So if you get into the multiple hundreds of thousands per month for a single product, you are going to attract a lot of negative attention. So that's just something you have to go into it just knowing that will happen to you more often than someone who's doing like $50,000 a month for a listing.
Okay. All right. One question from Cool Hand. How do you give great customer service on Amazon with the limited communication we were allowed to have? I already offer no questions asked returns, but I would love to do more. Yeah,
there's a couple things you can do. So I actually love warranties. and talking about what you offer. And so whether that's a 12-month warranty or a lifetime warranty, I actually love and promote the lifetime warranty idea, because the chances of someone actually, you know, coming to you and saying, you have a lifetime warranty, my wallet broke, I want a replacement, it's really, really low. So it's really, really strong for marketing and getting them to convert. And another thing you can use is an autoresponder. So kind of like the perfect way to do this, the first email right around 2 to 5 days post delivery. Talk about maybe the owner's manual, maybe there's a PDF, maybe there's something related to the product. Ask them if they have any questions about it. Be very value focused on that email, and then send a second one out. And this is really important. Don't request a review on both emails. Only request it on the first or the second email, and then then you can have some interaction there. And this is all through the messenger system on Amazon. So you are interacting, but you need to offer something that's going to kind of kickstart the conversation. So that could be questions of how to properly install the workout equipment, helping them understand the ingredients. Oh, by the way, did you know that our product was 100% organic? So there's different strategies you can use there to foster some communication.
All right. And also want to mention that we do have our giveaway still. So if you're interested in a 30-minute consult with Jon Elder, you can write the term #Wheel of Kelsey right there, that hashtag. Just comment that either on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you will be entered. If you take 2 people, you'll get an extra entry, and we'll announce the winner at the end of today's show. We just have a couple more questions from Rad. Can we compete with Chinese sellers in retail arbitrage?
I don't consult arbitrage sellers. If anything, it's going to get harder and harder for arbitrage going forward. I think Amazon is going to continue to add brand protection tools to listings. That's going to affect both American and Chinese sellers in terms of how much freedom you have reselling items on Amazon. But I don't think arbitrage is really that affected by Chinese sellers. But I'm not an expert in the arbitrage space, so I probably shouldn't go further than that.
All right. Okay, from Chuck, where do we find information about signing up for the transparency program?
Well,
Amazon has a landing page for that. You can sign up through it. It's pretty easy. I think you could just Google it and it'll pop up.
yeah, I think it's brandservices.amazon.com/transparency. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, from Claudia, we are working with a contract manufacturing sourcing agent in Mexico. We are having a mold made with our trademark logo. Should I have any problems with hijacking by going to the links we are going to?
I would get a set contract with your factory in Mexico to protect that mold. And so if you don't do that, they can easily sell that mold to somebody and allow a multitude of sellers to use your mold. So definitely get that mold locked down under a contract.
One of the tricks Afalabi does is have your logo on the mold somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good tip.
Great. Let me see. This one is from Humayan. I thought you can only send one email to the customer. John, are you saying we can send multiple emails even if these are not related to reviews? Is this against Amazon TOS?
Yeah, there's a lot of just mixed information out there. So you can only request a review once. In my experience, the Amazon built-in feature where you can do a review request is pretty much useless. And so it's better to use your own language, to use some humor, to add some brand personality in that email. Some sellers, they're only comfortable doing one email. You should be comfortable doing 2 emails if it is related to something like installation of the product, safety of the product, anything that's going to help that Amazon consumer with the use of that product and cover any questions. So definitely keep those segmented that way. and don't do a double review request. That's a good way to get a warning from Amazon and shut off your
Yeah.
email rights.
And don't make it salesy.
Yeah, be very, very natural with your language, in short and sweet. But definitely, avoid language of, "Hey, I'm a small business owner. Please leave me an unbiased review." Use language that is very, very natural and talks about how that review is going to benefit you. You could also mention, your review is, even if there's some negative content to the review, it's going to help me in my business to further improve my product. So there's different word choices you can use there. The key, because just keep this in mind, every message you send is tracked by AI. So always include the keyword unbiased review.
Right.
That will keep you very safe.
Okay, and let me see. We've just got one more here from Ibrahim. We'll see if what we can come up with. I have a question about my competitor who has 900 reviews and is selling the product for $35.99, whereas my goal is to sell for $37.99 with a $5 to $6 added dollar value added. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I'll schedule 20 reviews and rank the products using PPC. Hiring an Amazon copywriter for a high ticket offering. After all expenses, including freight and shipping, my profit is 20%. Only PPC is left out.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm always going to encourage you to be selling at a higher price point than the competition. So now the question is, how do I justify that price point? That could be just simple things like beautiful images. I like to go a step further, include accessory items. So like, for example, if you sell a tent, include a light for your tent, include bonus features, maybe some stakes for the tent, so they don't have to go out and purchase those stakes. So anytime that you can improve the material quality of your product, you can, mention that in infographics, and justify that higher price point. But it sounds like you're doing the right thing. You're doing value added, and you're clearly adding something to your listing to get there. The reviews over time will come in, and 900. It's going to take some time, to get up to that type of level, but not impossible by any means.
Okay, I think that's it. We did have one question about directory for suppliers in Mexico. Do you have any advice on
Feel
this?
free to email me. I have a sourcing agent in Mexico that I really trust. My clients use him. I like to use sourcing agents for Mexico. That's really a good way to go.
Okay, and I should also add, we have the Mexico trip Facebook page too. So if you have any questions about sourcing in Mexico, you can ask it here. It's just facebook.com/the Mexico trip. Okay, so I think we're all set, and we can head over to the Wheel of Kelsey if that works for you too.
You're being very aggressive, Kels.
We do have a cutoff time today, so
Right.
that's why I just want to make sure we get everything in.
Go for it, sir.
All right. So thank you everyone for entering, and here we go, the Wheel of Kelsey.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right. So thank you everyone for entering. This is for the 30 minutes consult with Jon. I will email the winner, so please email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com. And here we go. We'll give it a spin. Thanks again for everyone who entered. And let's see who the winner is.
Claudia?
Oh,
Claudia.
yes.
Yeah.
Claudia is the winner.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Okay, so Claudia, just please email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com, and I'll set you up. I also just don't want to forget, we also are giving away to all of our listeners 20% off your first 2 months with Jon's consulting services. So you could just visit blacklabeladvisor.com. There's a contact sheet, and just mention Lunch with Norm, and you'll be able to get that 20% off.
Yeah, awesome. And then Should mention, if anyone's interested, I also run a small group on Facebook. It's called Amazon Private Label HQ. Totally free. It's basically just sellers helping sellers. And then you can find me on Twitter and Facebook. That's where I like to hang out. So.
All right. Fantastic. Jon, are there any other, or what am I trying to say? I almost went through the whole show with no blunders. Any other contact information that you'd like to provide?
Yeah, my email, that's the easiest way to reach out. So it's JONELDER@blacklabeladvisor.com. And then definitely connect up on Twitter. Twitter is turning into quite the beast. So that's just a really good place to interact with me. I provide a lot of just basically 24/7 responses. People ask questions on there and tag me, and totally free. So a lot of value there compared to other platforms. So
fantastic. Okay, Claudia, congrats. You're going to learn a lot from Jon with that 30-minute consult. And Jon, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Great topic. Loved it. So hopefully we can get you on soon.
Yeah, it was an awesome topic. It was great to be on again.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. And we will talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, Norm.
All right. Okay, everybody. So we will see you on Friday. Kelsey, before we do that, any information we need to talk about?
Okay, so like we said, we have our Mexico sourcing trip coming up. If you're interested, you can visit themexicotrip.com, and you can get $500 off if you use the code MexicoVIP. So check that out. That's happening in June. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page or whichever social media you are watching us from right now. So whether that's the Facebook page, LinkedIn, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. And of course, give us those thumbs up, smash those like buttons. And I think that's it. Yeah, we'll be doing some Q&As in the Facebook group this month, as well as a special Q&A on our Instagram Live that we're going to be doing for the first time. So make sure you're following us there. And surprise. And I think that's it. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and eCommerce Collective. And that's it for me.
Perfect. So tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And thanks again for watching. Thanks for being part of our community. We could not do this without you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on Friday.
Lunch with Norm.